In the last video we looked at an inline style of CSS, and this was the example we used. Style color blue, background color yellow, and that formatted this particular H1 headline. And the reason we would want to use that inline style is to make, say, one headline different from the others. This CSS down here is the default CSS for the page, and it turns the headlines red. So we see second, third and fourth headers are all red, but this one we wanted different, so we used an inline style to get that. The second type of CSS I want to show you is called an internal style sheet, and this could be used if a single page on your site has a different format, different layout, or a unique style. Let's say, for example, that one page on your site wanted all of the H1 headers to look like this, whereas on the rest of your site all of your H1 headers look like this. So you had one page where the H1 headers were different. And what you could do in that situation is use an internal style. So let's just do that. Let's get rid of our inline style there, and let's say that all of the H1 headers on this page we want blue with a yellow background. Now this style sheet is the style sheet that is used on all of the website, H1 color red. So on all the website we've got H1s as red, but on this particular page let's say we want H1 headers blue with a yellow background. So to do this, the internal style sheet is placed in the head section of the HTML page. Here's the head section. At the moment this page only has a title. So let's create a new line, and we start off the internal style with the style command, and let's just put a new line there so we can put the styles in between the style and the close style. This / style marks the end of the style sheet. Right, let's start off by saying H1 curly brackets, and you can see the curly brackets are being closed for me as well. I'm going to put a line in there now, so I'm going to put the formatting options between the two curly brackets. The first thing, color blue. Now you can see the headlines have all changed blue. If we assume that on the rest of the website the site is using a style sheet where the headlines are coloured red, then we can see that this declaration up here of style colour as blue overrides that red colour. We can see that simply by removing we can do that by commenting out that style colour equals blue. They all change red because for the site as a whole, using this, everything's red. We want to override it on this particular web page, then this internal style sheet is doing that. And again we can put the background color yellow, and you can see now all the H1 headers on this page have this style defined by this internal style sheet. Now it is theoretically possible that you could put the entire CSS styling for a web page in this header section, but it's not very practical, and I'll show you why. Over here I've got the style sheet of a popular WordPress plugin. This is just the style sheet. This is all the declarations in that style sheet, and you can see there's over 2,660 plus lines in that style sheet, which means if we wanted to put that style into our web page, then we'd have 2,662 lines above the code. And if I just show you that style sheet in Windows Explorer, that's the style sheet there. It's 79 kilobytes in size. Now that would automatically add 79 kilobytes of size to this web page, which will slow it down, make it slower loading, and your visitors would not stick around. The other thing to think about is that every page on your website would need the same style commands in there. And if you had a website that had 100 pages, let's suppose that you suddenly decided that instead of blue text, you wanted black text for your headers. That would mean you have to go into all 100 pages on your site and change blue to black. And that's for a simple change. So trying to manage style sheets that are internal style sheets like this are a bit of a nightmare. So it doesn't really make sense to use this internal style sheet unless you really have to. And in fact, I don't think I've ever used it, because you can always use the third option that we're going to explore next, which is the external style sheet. So let's have a look at the external style sheet in the next video.